Bukayo, well done. Great performance overall, but how important were those first 35 minutes? Because it was such a strong start from Arsenal.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong start, and we remember we played similar like this last year, so we knew we wanted to start strong, and we definitely did that.
And before I come into your goal, I want to talk about your assists. You reached 10 assists this season, more than last season. How has it been for you to develop this part of your game?
Well, I'm just constantly looking to improve and create and score goals for this team. And yeah, I'm doing that right now, and I'm enjoying my football. I'm playing with confidence, so I want to continue like this.
How much have you been enjoying? Because, of course, you're an attacking player. Of course, you prefer to score goals. But how much pleasure are you taking from these assists?
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of pleasure. I like to score and create, but the biggest pleasure is winning and getting 3 points on the board. So I'm very happy today.
And talking about assists, it was a nice moment when you gave the ball to Odegaard for his penalty, and then he gave it back to you. How was that moment?
No, it was nice. Martin's a top player. He's been playing so good since he's come back, and he wanted to take the penalty to score today, and I'm more than happy to give him the ball because he always gives me the ball. So we have a good connection, and like I said, let's just keep this form going.
Yes, the connection is on and off the pitch then.
Yeah, on and off the pitch, yeah.
And for your goal, of course, it is a priority for you to score goals, but how have you been feeling with the movements the team has been making and the connections, the link-ups back with Odegaard?
Yeah, I think definitely the last 3 games we've been back to our best, back to our best way of playing. We're fluid, we're dynamic, and you can see the movements, the rotations, everything looks good. So we need to continue like this. You know, we played 3 good games, but we know in this league it's not enough. We have a big game on Wednesday, Manchester United, so we're going to be ready for that and look to do the same thing.
Well done then. You are player of the match. Congratulations, Bukayo.
Thank you very much.
I'd say a very well-deserved player of the match there. So 10 assists, which was mentioned there in the interview, surpassing his tally for last season, which was 9. Will he be happy with the amount of assists he's notching up?
Assists, what does that mean? It's all about goals.
Spoken like a true striker.
All about goals.
But he's contributing.
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's a forward player, so you're judged on goals and assists. He's contributing, you know, his numbers are high. But I'm sure deep down he'd obviously want to score more goals, of course. You want to score more goals than your assists. But if the team's winning and scoring that many goals, then and you're contributing, like I said, then that's the most important thing.
But overall, a quality player, David. Yeah. He is unbelievable.
And what you don't see him doing is taking on shots when he knows there's a player in a better position. He always puts the ball across. You know, he's not a greedy.
Not selfish.
He's not always after the goals, you know. And you know, he might be happy with the assist, you know, but he wants goals. But he knows that when he's in the right position, he will square it to a guy in a better position. So that shows you a quality player.
But he seems to be a player, as are all of the players actually, that seem to be just improving and taking it up a level, up a gear every time we see them play, especially in the last 3 games.
But I think Arsenal's been like that for the last few seasons, to be honest. They've had little blips here and there, which is normal throughout the course of the season, but I think in the main, really, you know, we've seen that with Arsenal where on their day, you know, they can score 5 and 6 goals. Because in the forward areas, they've got so much quality. The way the manager wants to play, you know, his attention to detail, you know, from what you hear, you know, he loves coaching. He spends hours and hours in coaching, his set-piece coaching, you know, so he ticks all the boxes. So you expect them to be like that.
So, David, what is the key from your experience of maintaining this level? What's the key to continuing that level of success with the games coming thick and fast, with the Premier League schedule relentless over the Christmas period? Because what they want to do is maintain that high standard.
Yeah, and it's keep that momentum going. Hopefully stay away from injuries, you know, and have a full squad to choose from, because that really makes a difference. You know, we're seeing that with Man City, you know, but with Arsenal now, I think the only guy out is Ben White and Tommy Asu as well. You know, so we've still got like a big squad to choose from, you know, and then keep that momentum going. And it's weird because like they'll come off now off the back of this, you know, big win against West Ham. Straight away, thoughts will go straight towards Man United on Wednesday.
That's key, isn't it? Well, let's have a look back at the goals. We'll take you back to 1-0, Gabriel. This was a set piece, and this was straight off the training pitch.
Yeah, it's really good because it was a funny start. You know, the starting position, they all started at the back post. You can see here. And it's really difficult to pick up, actually. And then there's little blocks. and stuff like that. But, and Gabriel just gets a good header there, just directs it into the far corner. But the starting positions were quite... You don't really see that too.
You look at Timber there, as he gets that block, and then it allows Gabriel to get onto the ball and gets a free header.
Yeah.
All that just doesn't happen by chance.
No,
That's all planned. And they do a lot of set-piece practice at the training ground.
And look at that. 28 goals from set pieces since the start of last season. And you would think, actually, that teams would find them out a little bit because they're used to them scoring from set pieces, but they're still managing to deliver at such a high level.
The key thing is the quality of the cross that's coming in. Yeah. You've got Declan knocking, like a cross in with pace with his right foot bending it in. You've got Saka on the other side with his left. And it's really hard to defend, and that's why you're getting a lot of the little flicks. And then with Gabriel coming in, timing it perfectly, it's just a header, it's a proper header on goal and it's in. The goalies don't hardly ever move.
How, as a goalkeeper, would you deal with that?
It's really hard because it's all about reactions, and then there's bodies in front of you, and unless it hits you, you ain't really got a chance because it's so close.
That's why you want, obviously, your defenders to make first contact, because when there's so much movement like that and there's blocks and stuff, I don't think the goalkeeper can do anything.
Yeah, well, we talked about Saka. He provided the assist for that, and then for the second goal, which Trossard fired home. Trossard, he's a good player. He's getting more and more chances to start in this Arsenal side as well. Yeah,
he is, and this is like what I was talking about earlier, like Odegaard finds him there, and Bukayo could easily shoot there, but he knows that there's two people in a better position, and he just squares it in. Whether he likes his assists, I'm still not having that properly. He'd rather score, but he's a very intelligent football player.
But you're right, that's an example of what you were saying.
Exactly, he could easily shoot. What would you do, Jermain?
Probably would have shot. No, but this Arsenal, the way Arsenal playing at the minute, it reminds me of the Invincibles when you had that Thierry Henry, Ashley Cole, Robert Perez. When on that, they always vacated that left hand side of the pitch and very unselfish. You see a lot of the Arsenal goals back then, where they'll get into positions. And players just pass it across the goal and just tap it into an empty net. But it's really unselfish. But, I mean, he makes all the right decisions, Saka.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And then the third goal, well, it was a penalty. And we were happy with the fact that it was given as a penalty.
Yeah. The first one or the second one?
The first one.
First one, yeah. When I first saw it, I thought, he's just, there wasn't a lot of contact on the player, but then when you actually see it slowed down, there's no contact on the ball at all. There's a touch on Saka's left shin, I think it is, and he goes down and that's it, just there, or left side of his ankle. And it's a penalty.
Do you know what he's really good at? He's like a 1v1 specialist. Like when he gets 1v1, he commits people, and as soon as they move, he just goes past them so easy. But it was definitely a penalty. And obviously Odegaard here, you always fancy him to score.
Yeah. And then.
And it was interesting, Saka giving the ball to Odegaard there, which, well...
I'm sure it's because of that celebration there. It's that celebration there.
The players are too nice these days.
No, you wouldn't have done that, would you?
Giving your goals away.
But what's the reason? Why do you think he did? Is it because Odegaard's just come back from injury? It's his first goal this season? Captain?
No, I think it's because he's either just about to have a baby or not him, obviously. It's his partner.
That's not the first time they've done it.
No.
I remember, was it last season? I think it's not the first time they've done it. And I remember Mikel Arteta coming out and saying it's just something that the players do. If someone fancies the penalty, then...
You've got to trust in your teammates.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Leandro Trossard again now because he was involved in 4-0 as well.
Dave, do you want to talk about this one?
I like this. I love this pass. Because it's a quick decision. Look, he has a little look up, first ball pass.
That's amazing.
The defender, if you're not going to get it, go with the ball. But then this finish is brilliant because he just lifts it over Fabianski's leg. Because Fabianski goes to make a foot save, so he's spreading his leg out and he lifts it. If he hits that along the ground, Fabianski saves that.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of credit. Great.
He deserves a lot of credit, to be honest.
Yeah.
The amount of goals that he scored recently and last season.
He's their top goal scorer now.
Top goal scorer. Yeah, it looks an easy finish, but it's not because you've got so much time to think about it and you're actually running straight.
Yeah.
So you can't really see the goal, but it's a nice, cool finish.
Going back to what you said about Havertz, at the start it didn't quite click for him, and I remember the fans were really on his case as well. It was a difficult time. What was the difference? What's made it suddenly click for him? He just seems to fit into the team so well now.
I think that's, he's been shown some love as well, by the fans and by the players and the manager, because the manager kept picking him, and he was getting a lot of stick, and people were always, Trossard's playing, Havertz is playing, but he's battled through it, and then he's got a goal, then he's got another goal, and now there's there's a song about him and it's brilliant, about being a waste of money, and he scores again. That's can't do all the song, but
Sure.
it's quite naughty.
The interesting part, also, when you look at the goal scorers, there were 5 different goal scorers today, Jermain.
But it's so funny we said that because we spoke before. And I remember having a conversation with Thierry Henry, and he spoke about you need goals from all over the pitch. In the Arsenal teams, when you get Freddie Ljungberg, 15 goals, Robert Perez, Thierry Henry, so goals all over if you want to go and try and achieve anything. And 5 different goal scorers today, if they do that going forward, it obviously help.
We still need a striker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that it's gone now, right?
Well, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It'll never go away, because when we have a game where we don't score, sometimes it looks like we really do need one. But can you imagine if we did have one that was scoring goals? Where would that put us?
Exactly. How's everyone doing on the Arsenal group chat then? Everyone absolutely buzzing.
Yep, they're all loving it.
They're all buzzing.
The Invincibles and the Incredibles are all on there.
Invincibles and Incredibles, that's brilliant. OK, well, I mentioned the 5th goal scorer. That was Saka, because it was a penalty given. Fabianski's foul on Gabriel. What did we think of this whole incident? David, I'll come to you on that.
Yeah, it's a hard one for me, because it's not a big punch on his head. It's just like a glancing punch. He's only just missed the ball. And I've seen a few of these given recently. I remember Martinez, I don't know if it was for Villa or when he was playing for Argentina, did one like this and it got given. And now there's a little trend, that is so minute. It's a little glance on his head and the referee's giving it straight away. It's not. You
would have been disappointed if that
was not only that, as a goalkeeper now, it makes you nervous. The only thing I could say about Fabianski's technique, maybe, is that when he comes out to punch, it's like he's throwing a massive haymaker rather than a short jab at the ball. And if you're just doing a short jab, your hand and your fist haven't got as far to travel. If you watch this, he really loads it up to go and punch it over the halfway line, and it just catches the side of Gabriel's head. It's a big punch.
I think even with a cross, I think it's quite high. It's not like it's whipped in. Do you think he even needs to come? I don't think Gabriel can. I don't think, because it's looped in, you can't really generate much power on a header.
Yeah, but it's in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's got a bit of height. You would expect your goalkeeper to come for that. I think it was the right decision to come for it. Just maybe a little bit different with the execution of the punch.
Okay. Well, no doubt the Arsenal manager is absolutely delighted with his team's performance today. Let's hear from him now, Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, congratulations, back up to second, which is most important, but that was a crazy first half.
Yeah, very much. Obviously, we made it crazy. We played so well, started the game, being so dominant, so efficient in front of goal, and scored 3 very early goals, and then, they scored 1 immediately after our kick-off. We give a free kick away, score another one, then it's game on, and we have to manage the game. I think we did that really well. We created some other big chances in general. The last 2 away games, they were really tricky against Sporting and West Ham, and scored 10 goals. That's a big one.
I know you still got some injuries, particularly for defenders, but in terms of midfield and attack, there was a lovely balance to the team today.
Yeah, it was. Again, obviously, we knew before the game that we were going to make some subs because of the state of certain players. But we had to manage that, and that's why all the players get the opportunity. Jacob came in, Alex came in, did really well as well. Jorginho, I think he was exceptional. Thomas is out, you bring another player, and he delivers what he's done again, so very pleased.
I thought it was very interesting. We all know your corner kick routines and how Gabriel gets space, but Antonio tried to deny him space, but he just wasn't able to pin him down.
Yeah, obviously, every team has his strengths and weaknesses. We try to pick up on there and work on that, and very pleased that we can score again. I think is the last 10 goals, I think, is very different goal scorers in very different ways, and that's good. It's a really positive thing for the team.
And when you have a first half like that and 7 goals scored, as much as it to calm the players down, to relax, it seemed sort of good game management in the second half. It wasn't as crazy.
Yeah, the message is not to relax, is to go for more and sustain and improve. Still certain things that in the first half were a bit sloppy, especially with the direct play. But it's that tendency as well. You feel in control. You feel that there's still a big difference in the scoreline, and probably you are not that efficient as consistency as we were in the first 30 minutes.
Well, consistency is the key word, isn't it, as you mentioned, David? Because up next they've got Manchester United, so they want to maintain this level of brilliance that we've just seen just now, because that's on Wednesday as well, isn't it? So it's not long to go.
Yeah, it's a massive game, and these big games are going to keep coming now. And like you say, it's to keep that momentum going. keep it going into the next game, and then let's see what happens, because there's a huge game tomorrow with Liverpool and City. You know, and looking at the league, I don't know whether I want City to win that. You know, because it keeps us closer to the top. But that's what you've got to start looking at now. You know, the last couple of seasons, we've been major contenders to win in the Premier League. You know, and we need to keep that momentum going.
And also because you're a former City man as well.
Only for a little bit, but I did love my time at City, but I like my time at Arsenal a little bit more.
Of course you did, though. But it's interesting because Arsenal are up to second in the table. They are closing the gap on Liverpool, but are relying on Liverpool to drop quite a few points.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Liverpool at the minute, they're flying, playing some good football, you know, winning games. But I think I said before about Arsenal just focusing on them and just winning games. And when you're scoring a lot of goals and you're playing like you're playing, you just can't wait till the next game. And it doesn't really matter who you play against, because you just believe that you go to the next game and you're going to win. And they seem to have that vibe at the minute where they're scoring a lot of goals, everyone's playing well, everyone's contributing. So I could imagine that it doesn't matter who they play against next, they'll believe that they'll just keep winning.
Yeah. Interestingly, we have to reflect on West Ham as well. This is a London derby, let's not forget. It was a massive win for Arsenal today. But West Ham looked like they were coming back into it at one point. But what did you make overall of West Ham's performance, David?
I think they were just bossed by Arsenal. You know, like the early goals really killed them off. Then they got a couple of bites that made it 4-2, and you thought, oh, you know, have they got anything else to go? And then Arsenal got the fifth goal right at the end of the first half, which killed it for Arsenal, I felt. But with West Ham, you look at that and you think, you know, are they better than what they were last season? You know, and is the football better? And I'm not too sure. You know, and I said it at the time. I was like, I can't believe that they're desperate to get rid of David Moyes.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just a real shock. You know, because they were consistent. They won a European trophy. They were always like top half of the table, and then they go and get rid of him because of a certain style of play, and it's not working just yet.
And Lopetegui is now feeling the pressure because the fans aren't really quite on board with him. They're quite vocal about that.
Yeah, the fans are obviously not going to be happy, but I just feel like the West Ham team, I don't feel like they're dynamic enough. So when you play against teams like the Cities and the Arsenals that keep the ball with that sort of like that intensity and their players are quite dynamic, they're always going to struggle. So then how do you approach the game? Are you going to sit off? Do you go and press? It's a difficult one, but the West Ham fans are not going to be happy because it's a London derby. You know, you can't concede 5 goals in the first half.
OK. Well, you mentioned that you want City to win tomorrow. Do you think the Arsenal players will be watching tomorrow?
I would imagine so.
Because, interestingly, of course, as we've said, second in the Premier League table, back up in there. They'd just dropped out of the top 4, hadn't they? So it was a massive win for them today. What do you think? Will they want it to be a City win or a Liverpool win tomorrow?
What do you think?
They won't want Liverpool win. No, definitely not. You know, either a draw or looking at the table, a win for City.
Yeah.
You know, because they need to pull Liverpool back a little bit.
Exactly.
Where do you think Arsenal and West Ham will end up in the Premier League table at the end of the season? Let's talk about Arsenal. The Gunners had a blip of sorts, considering their high standards, them being challenging Man City to win the league in the last consecutive 2 years. They lost to Bournemouth 2-0 on matchday 8, the 19th of October, mainly because of 2 things. Saliba had a silly red card and was sent off. The other big factor is that their playmaker Martin Odegaard was injured. Next game saw them draw Liverpool at home. Not too bad as they are the league leaders currently. Then came the defeat to Newcastle away by a solitary goal. Then followed the draw against Chelsea away 1-1. They then win 3-0 at home against Nottingham Forest with Odegaard returning. This puts them at the 5th position before this game. Know that Brighton had already gone ahead 1 game. For their high standard, this is unusual and worrying, only if they are to win the title. The gap between them and Liverpool is now 9 points. Of course, Manchester City are in a rut too, and they are just 1 point ahead. And then there is more than 2/3 of the season still to play. The predictive algorithm Opta puts them to come in 2nd place in the table at the end. Where do you think they will end up? Our feeling is somewhere between 2nd and 3rd, unless Liverpool do slip up in a meaningful way. This is the Premier League. You never know what it will throw up. Let's talk about West Ham. Coming from an unexpected victory at home over Newcastle 2-0, the Hammers are in 14th position before the start of this game. West Ham have been a consistent presence in the middle of the table, 6th to 7th, then 14th and 9th last season. Although they have flirted with relegation in the odd season, they are not really likely to lose their Premier League position. They have not been prolific lately. In their last 9 games before this, they managed to get just 7 points, although they do beat Ipswich and Manchester United. If their manager, Julian Lopetegui, is to remain as coach, they need to up their game. Victory against the Magpies last week is their first since August. Opta predicted West Ham to finish in 11th position. That sounds about right for West Ham.